Hello again everyone, this is Santotaku with Team by the Trigger, bringing you another deck testing session between myself and Nameless. Nameless has been our resident Dark Irregulars player since BTO3 came out, but the deck really hasn't performed as well as we had all hoped, so we decided to build a Lawlkeeper deck and put it through its paces. Overall the deck did pretty well, and it'll likely need a bit more fine-tuning, but here's one of our practice sessions, so I hope you enjoy. So starting the game off on the right here, we have me, Santotaku, with Little Witch Lulu, and on the left we have Nameless using Lizard Soldier Conroe. I run to Gemini and pass to him, and he's going to answer right back by using Embodiment of Armor Bar, so we have our 8Ks staring each other down. This is a pretty good play on his part. Normally I would drop a 10k shield to no pass and attacking first turn Vanguard just to prevent the early damage, especially when I go first. But I couldn't do it in this situation because if he did get a trigger, it would have gone through because of the Conroe. So here I ride into, or rather I call Milk after riding into Wise Man. And this was sort of a controversial play. Wimpley next to me was questioning why I would put such a powerful booster into place so early. And what it really came down to for me was I didn't want to put a rear guard down that he could attack and avoid attacking my Vanguard, because I want to be able to play Coco next turn. So at this point the only way he can avoid me playing Coco is by not attacking at all. So that's really what my train of thought there was. So here he goes with Nahalem. He does not get a trigger. It looked like he got a high-speed Brocky to hand there, and I do lose a Scarlet Witch 2 damage. So I will stand and draw, and there goes Scarlet Witch Coco, and this is where the Soulless deck explodes. I get to Soul Blast 1, draw 1, so Counter Blast 2, draw 2 more. And my offensive really gets going at the turn 3 ride. So there's Battle Sister Mocha making a solid 16k column. And there's Oracle Guardian Apollon, which is not only my backup Vanguard, but it works as a really great rear guard, really underrated card. And Circle Magus Taboo's making 17k, so 3 really big blocks for him very early in the game. He takes the Mocha attack, he loses a booster with Embodiment of Armor Bar, and Coco will attack at 23k. And he considers blocking, but if he was going to block this one, he probably would have rather have blocked Mocha instead, because this would require too much for him. And there is a crit trigger which he could not have seen coming, but it could not be less fortunate for him. It's going to put him up to 4 damage before he even gets to grade 3, which you can't really do much about that. Fortunately, he does get the defensive trigger, and this last attack will still be just a 10k guard for him. So he does get out of the turn, and he stands and he draws. And so from here, he does get to ride his Lawkeeper, which is really, that's obviously the key for the Kagero Lawkeeper deck. You want to be able to ride into Lawkeeper first and start controlling the field as early as possible and try and create those power columns that the deck does so well. The Brockian play does have the Kimnara behind it, so he will be able to get over the Vanguard, either with the effect or with Kimnara as a booster. He has, a lot of options here. His Conroe has not been used yet. His Kimnara can eliminate boosters. His Brocky can Soul Blast. So it's going to take him a minute to sort of think about how he wants to handle the turn. Especially, this is one of the first times he has played the deck. So he goes ahead and Counterblast for Kimnara. This is probably a solid play on his part. He's going to be able to eliminate Circle Magus or Milk. And Milk is the obvious choice here to get rid of the 20k Vanguard. And there we go, he does finally decide on Milk. And he will get to use Conroe's effect, forgetting that it's a card that goes to the drop zone and not the soul. And he does have a couple options here. He can go for another Kimnara to get rid of the Circle Magus, but it'll leave him without boosters. He can go for a Bar, which would be good on both sides of the field, either behind Lawkeeper or behind his Brocky. And then since he's at 4 damage, he could also go for Bari, which would be a good defensive choice. It looks like he has 3 cards in hand at this point. So Bari might be a bit too cloggy, as they say. So the bar is probably the good choice here. Not sure quite yet where he's deciding to put it. He did drop it into play behind the Brocky. Not sure if he's leaving it there or if he's going to put it behind his Lawkeeper. Yep, he decides to leave it behind Brocky. This is a good play. This will allow Brocky to be able to get over the Vanguard and be a 10k block. The Lawkeeper is going to be a 10k block no matter what happens. It's either no guard or it's going to be a 10k to be a 2 to pass. So this will be the best way to start trying to whittle down the hand advantage that Scarlet Witch Coco can create. And I think he's thinking about playing some other cards from his hand, but I'm not sure quite what he has. Nope. Alright, there we go. He's going to go ahead with Lawkeeper, which will be a 10k on a 10k. Perfect time to use a 10k shield. It's a 2 to pass and only costs 1 card, so that's pretty great for me. He gets a critical trigger, which he's going to put on Brocky, and that'll put Brocky up to 14, and with the bonus from Bar, that is going to be a 22? Yeah, 22k with Tar and Bar on Brocky. So this is he's pondering over whether he wants to use Brocky's effect, and there he goes. By using it, he's pretty much guaranteed that Brocky will either do 2 damage to me or I'll have to use at least 20k worth of guard out of my hand. He's really trying to work hard to whittle down the advantage I've created, but being at 2 damage, it's just easier to take it and let the score get tied up. I do get 2 meaningless triggers there. And that's the end of his turn, so Brocky goes back to the deck. Going back, I'm not sure if I would have made the same decision to use Brocky's effect. It would have been a 15k guard without Brocky's effect. It may still have gone through. It still would have whittled cards. He may have gotten just a little bit too greedy there. And by the attack getting through, my Coco is able to cross-ride, and I'm able to draw 2 more cards. Which, of course, there's no way he would have known that. But that's sort of how it works sometimes, especially when you're learning a deck. So here comes Oracle Guardian Gemini, but unfortunately, because there's a card in my soul, Coco will just be an 18k column. So there will be a minimum 10k block for him across the board, starting off with Mocha. And he guards with the tar he just drew. Here comes Coco at 18k. This is really a dangerous time, and it looks like he perfect guards, discarding a Blockade Dragon. And I do get a critical trigger and another critical trigger, so that brings Apollon up to 27k with the boost from Circle Magus, so there's no choice for him there. He needs to guard, and it looks like he drops down 2 zeros there to be 30k. So he is able to get out of the turn, but he is hurt right now. The score is tied at 4, but the fields do not match at all. There's just so many cards in play, and by playing Lawkeeper's effect there, he's going to be able to eliminate one of my rear guards. And this will be a 13k on a 10k. And there's the perfect guard. The safe choice there, because a double trigger, if I put a 2 to pass, would end the game. He only gets 1, and there's a heal trigger, which is going to revitalize his chances for this game. And especially when the score is tied, there's nothing better than seeing a heal trigger on offense, because you heal a damage straight up, you get a 10k shield to hand, you power up another unit. It just creates so much advantage, and it's going to buy him at least a couple turns here to try and create an offensive. And on top of that, he was able to eliminate one of my attackers, the Battle Sister Mocha, which was a 16k column. So with everything coming back into play, I stand and I draw. And I play my rearguard, Battle Sister Souffle, which will once again create a 20k column for my field. And we'll start off with Scarlet Witch Coco attacking. And unfortunately, there is no triggers there for me. He loses a blockade as damage. I attack with Apollon at 17k. And that's an easy 10k block for him. And finally, the Souffle, which would be 15k for him, but fortunately because of that heal trigger, he does have a little bit of wiggle room, So he chooses to maintain his hand advantage by taking the damage. He does lose out on a trigger though. It ends up being a meaningless trigger, but that's probably the best situation for him there. There was no point in losing 15k to draw 10k for next turn. So he puts down a Gojo, which is a very good start for his return on the game. That'll put his Lawkeeper up to a 20k column, so that will help him eat up the hand that I've created. And he still has his Nahalem with Bar on the right hand side, so that'll be another 10k block. And he drops down a Kimnara, sacrificing one of his 5k shields to make me lose a booster. And getting rid of, it's probably a good idea because getting rid of the Gemini, which I believe he's going to do here. Yep, he eliminates the Gemini, which gets rid of my 20k column, which will help him conserve cards in the long run. And there's the limit break. So my field disappears. Lawkeeper will not end up destroying anything this time because of Kimnara, but it was the best play because Lawkeeper will now attack at 20k. But here comes the Chocolat, discarding Mocha. And here's the Twin Drive. First check is a critical trigger, bringing Nahalem up to 23k. And the second check, I didn't catch it, but it does not look like it was a trigger. And finally, Nahalem and Bar at 23k. Be a 15k guard for me to block it, and there it is. So his turn ends. I preemptively stand my vanguards and start calling back my units. There's Lulu, Apollon, and Circle Magus. Check the top, and there's Souffle. So with the unit stood, I draw. And Souffle will attack the rear guard first. Not a whole lot of reason here for that, to be honest. Probably a misplay on my part. It would have forced the same amount of guards either way. And really what I was trying to do is I was preparing for a stand trigger because I know there's one more in the deck, so I wanted to attack. But I could have attacked the Vanguard the same way. So there's a perfect guard out of him to prevent Coco. I do get the heal trigger, which will bring me back down to 4 damage, bring Apollon up. And it looks like he will not have enough with only 1 or 2 cards left in his hand against a 22k. And there's the final damage. Well, let's take a look at the breakdown. Starting off with the trigger count, the game had a total of 12 triggers drawn between the two of us. Decently balanced, but slightly in my favor, with 7 on my behalf and 5 for Nameless. But there were several triggers that showed up in defense and sort of resolved pointlessly and skewed the count a bit. Both of us were able to drop 2 perfect guards to keep ourselves alive a bit longer. And both of us were able to create units at the 27k mark through the combination of skill and trigger checks. The final score was 6-4, with Santotaku taking the game. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the game, and if you did, please leave a comment down below. As always, like, favorite, and subscribe as you see fit, and feel free to check out our blog. You'll find a link in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Once again, this was Santotaku.